Bonjour, Kinamagi and Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this overview of our Week 37 learning plan and announcements. We'll begin this episode by visiting our classroom stream page. This is the page where students can find all the information that they need and often should share. Includes easy access to send me an email, a number that they can provide to you to call or text. That's using a Google Voice account. And as always, if you have a specific question, please tell me who you are and what student. I don't have many of your numbers saved in my phone, and it makes it a lot easier to respond if I know who I'm talking to. You'll see this week's newsletter, which we'll be talking about momentarily. A note that went home about a week ago, which I'm going to highlight here, Bikes for Kids. And this information is where you could nominate a student to win a bike. And this applies for any student between 8 and 14. It doesn't have to be one of the students in our class. If you know of someone who could definitely benefit, it's a very nice thing that you can do for someone. We have an old newsletter and the May breakfast and lunch menu. Let's look at our newsletter first. You'll see next week is Culture Week. In lieu of the culture camps that we used to do prior to COVID, there is one that's not mentioned. On Monday and Tuesday, each day half the class will be going on a medicine walk. And that's coordinated with Miss Kelly Woodworth of our Project Aware team. There were permission slips sent home on Friday. So if your student was in school on Friday, please check in with them and send that back. They needed to participate. Wednesday is the water celebration. And there will be there will be some teachings in the afternoon. Each day will begin with a little bit of academics. So it's academics and culture, which is really kind of what our school is. Thursday will be kind of a normal day. Students that are wishing to get their Anishinaabe name, they will be pulled out one at a time to do the naming ceremony. All others will be kind of participating in a normal day. Friday is our fun day trip. We're scheduled right now to go to Craig's Cruisers over in Grand Rapids. Should be a very fun day. You'll get some more information about that, hopefully at the very beginning of the week from our Anishinaabe B'Madswin team. I know that we're already kind of getting 1,000 questions from students, and we hope to answer them all at once. Otherwise, I will make sure that the episode for next week is sent out on Thursday night so that those questions could be answered ahead of Friday's trip. We are continuing Popcorn Fridays through the rest of the school year. 50 cents a bag. Students are allowed to purchase up to 4 bags. We are also encouraging students to keep a personal sized deodorant in their lockers. We are at that point of the year. We're on warm days. We sweat, and it comes with its own set of consequences as we're getting older. Note on masking in the classroom, it is still optional. Students who want to wear a mask are always welcome to do such. Neebing registration remains open. If you have any questions, please contact Deb Smith at the provided information. What are we learning this week? We are kind of previewing in math some 6th grade content, things that are touched on in 5th, but are more likely to be dealt with again in 6th grade. Things like ratios and percents. It gives us a good opportunity to kind of get their feet wet and also build their knowledge base. We are still using our math review and enrichment time and some of our smaller group time to continue working with division. And we will have resources such as Khan Academy, STMath. I plan on running those into the summer as long as I can. And we'll talk about that in our season finale, things your students can do over the summer to kind of keep their skills and build their skills. I have no intent to close anything down that students could use until we get into August. And as I reset for the new school year. So we have that available. In language arts, we're working a variety of skills, trying to give students every opportunity to show what they know and get those threes so that they can feel confident moving on into middle school. We are continuing with Words Their Way for spelling. This next week will be the last week of new words, and then for the final week of the year, it'll be just those students that need to complete some of them. We've already done the assessment in most cases, but it's always good to keep practicing skills. In social studies, we had wrapped up the art constitution unit, although due to some absences, there are a few students that'll be finishing that up, and we'll be looking at our final section, which will be coming in on how to make a difference in your community. In science, we wrapped up chemical magic in the last week. Next week will be dedicated to things like science spin and getting another chance to earn those threes. Just a reminder, electronics must be turned off and submitted to the front office during the school day. Those that make it into my classroom will be confiscated and sent to the front office for parent or guardian pickup. And finally, in the newsletter, I always like to call attention to the language corner. So some different words that you can look for May, or it's hot outside, or just for fun, or an Anishinaabe name. We try to keep these somewhat topical, although you'll see some repeats throughout the year. So there's a lot of things in that newsletter and a lot of things coming up this week. If you have questions about any of the things in the newsletter, especially the events, please reach out to me at mireland@psychchip.org. And I will be more than happy to either answer the question or track down said answer to question. So let's look at our learning plan for this week. You'll notice that in reading, we're going to do a little research as well. So they'll be asked to research a person or event, and they're going to write a short paper, nothing super long, and then create a Google slide that will have some images and little technology in there. We'll end the week with some more of the reading assessments. That'll be based on what standards your student is still working on. Writing, we're working on the persuasive draft, and then we'll be moving into opinion draft. Then math, as you can see, some of the topics, ratio and rate, decimals and fractions. So like I said, a lot of things they've seen before. You'll notice as we get down here further, there are some sessions that say no session culture, no session field trip. Those are elements that have been currently canceled due to we have other things on the schedule. If weather throws a monkey wrench, we will adjust. Social studies, public issues next week, and hopefully some opportunities for students to earn some threes. You'll see the math review and enrichment, a spiral assessment on the same kind of topic, and also review and division. Technology is pretty straightforward, although we moved NitroType from Wednesday to Tuesday. We do continue our web blocks, and these are things that students in many cases can access from home as well, minus like the math and reading groups, but we have Legends of Learning, social studies spiral, things that they can be doing. You will find too that there'll be some overlap on the Monday, Tuesday plans because of the fact that for parts of this area, students will be in and out of the classroom based on their grouping. We are reaching that point where we are kind of slowly getting into the wrap up, and in week 37, it's seems like we just started yesterday. So we will be working hard still this last 2 weeks. You'll get more information on the final week, including events such as graduation, powwow, and our field day as soon as in our next episode, which right now I'm tentatively planning to send out on Thursday night. So probably come out little early the next week just because of the field trip the next day and the likelihood that there'll be some questions asked by students that I want to answer to all parents. Um, and then on the final week of school, we'll have one last newsletter video here that'll kind of highlight things that you can be doing during this, your students will have access to during the summer so that they have every opportunity to be as successful as possible. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode as I'm starting to get the spray off this waterfall over my head. That dogs are getting a little bit anxious behind me because they want to go outside and play in the rain, apparently. But everyone, I hope has a great rest of your weekend. And I look forward to seeing your students tomorrow. Minwa, Pamapi.